It's important to note that determining who the most evil rulers of all time is a subjective and controversial topic, as it is based on personal opinions and perspectives. Additionally, assigning a label of evil to someone is a serious and complex evaluation of a person's actions and motivations, and it should be done with care and historical context. However, here is a list of some of the historical figures who have been widely recognized as having committed many atrocities and human rights violations. 1. Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler, the leader of Nazi Germany, is responsible for the Holocaust and the deaths of millions of Jews, as well as the deaths of millions of others, including prisoners of war, LGBTQ people, and people with disabilities. He also launched an aggressive war that led to the deaths of millions of soldiers and civilians. Adolf Hitler rose to power in Germany through a combination of factors, including his powerful public speeches, the use of propaganda, and the weakness of other political parties. He became chancellor in 1933 and quickly consolidated power, eventually leading to the outbreak of World War II and his downfall. Hitler committed suicide in April 1945 as Allied forces closed in on Berlin. 2. Joseph Stalin. Joseph Stalin, the leader of the Soviet Union, was responsible for the deaths of millions of people through forced collectivization, famine, and political purges. He also oversaw the Gulag system of forced labor camps, where many prisoners died. Joseph Stalin rose to power in the Soviet Union through a combination of political maneuvering and purges of his rivals. He became the leader of the Soviet Union in the late 1920s and ruled until his death in 1953. Stalin's downfall came after his death, with the period of de-Stalinization, where his policies and reputation were discredited. 3. Mao Zedong. Mao Zedong, the leader of China, was responsible for the deaths of millions of people through the Great Leap Forward and the Cultural Revolution. He also oversaw widespread political repression and persecution. Mao Zedong rose to power in China through a combination of his role in the Communist Party and his military and political strategies during the Chinese Civil War. He became the leader of the People's Republic of China in 1949 and ruled until his death in 1976. Mao's downfall came after his death, his policies and reputation were discredited, and a new era began under Deng Xiaoping. 4. Pol Pot. Pol Pot, the leader of Cambodia, was responsible for the deaths of around 1.5 million people through forced labor, execution, and starvation during the Khmer Rouge regime. Pol Pot rose to power in Cambodia through his position as the leader of the Communist Party of Kampuchea and his tactics during the Cambodian Civil War. He became the leader of the Khmer Rouge regime in 1975 and ruled until 1979. Pol Pot's downfall came after the fall of the Khmer Rouge regime in 1979, and he lived in hiding until his death in 1998. 5. Kim Jong-il. The leader of North Korea, is responsible for widespread human rights abuses and the deaths of an estimated 2 million people through famine and political repression. Kim Jong-il rose to power in North Korea through a combination of his position as the son of the previous leader and his role in the country's government and military. He became the leader of North Korea in 1994 and ruled until his death in 2011. Kim Jong-il's downfall came after his death and his son Kim Jong-un took over. 6. Vladimir Putin. The president of Russia has been criticized for human rights abuses, political repression, and the assassination of political opponents. Vladimir Putin rose to power in Russia through his role in the Federal Security Service and his political alliances. He became the president of Russia in 2000 and has continued to hold power through various means, including his current term set to end in 2024. 7. Saddam Hussein. The leader of Iraq was responsible for widespread human rights abuses, including the use of chemical weapons against his own people, as well as the deaths of hundreds of thousands of people during his rule. Saddam Hussein rose to power in Iraq through a combination of political maneuvering and the use of force. He became the president of Iraq in 1979 and ruled until his overthrow in 2003. Saddam Hussein's downfall came with the 2003 US-led invasion of Iraq, and he was subsequently captured and executed in 2006. 8. Idi Amin. The leader of Uganda was responsible for the deaths of hundreds of thousands of people through political repression, ethnic persecution, and economic mismanagement. Idi Amin rose to power in Uganda through a combination of his position in the military and political maneuvering. He became the president of Uganda in 1971 and ruled until his overthrow in 1979. Idi Amin's downfall came with his overthrow in 1979, and he lived in exile until his death in 2003. 9. Nikolai Chiucescu. The leader of Romania was responsible for widespread human rights abuses, political repression, and economic mismanagement. He was executed following a popular uprising in 1989. Nikolai Chiucescu rose to power in Romania through a combination of his role in the Communist Party and political maneuvering. He became the leader of Romania in 1965 and ruled until his overthrow in 1989. Nikolai Ceausescu's downfall came with the 1989 Romanian Revolution, and he was subsequently captured and executed. 10. Genghis Khan. The founder and first great Khan of the Mongol Empire, has been responsible for the deaths of millions of people through invasions, conquests, and mass killings during his reign. Genghis Khan rose to power by unifying the nomadic tribes of the Mongolian plateau and building an empire through military conquests. He became the Great Khan of the Mongol Empire in 1206 and ruled until his death in 1227. Genghis Khan's downfall came after his death, and his empire was divided among his descendants. It's important to note that this list is not exhaustive, and there are many other historical figures who have committed terrible acts throughout history, and that the list is based on the knowledge cut off of 2021. It's also important to remember that many of these figures were part of larger systems of oppression, and that the responsibility for their actions should not be solely laid on them. It's important to learn from the past and remember the atrocities that have been committed, to ensure that they are not repeated. Do you agree with this top 10 list? Let me know down in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.